Hello, everyone, and welcome to our wholesaling class. We also call this the Deal Spotter system. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about the opportunities that you have with wholesaling, which is an incredible strategy to go out and start making money without ever owning a property. So we've got some exciting things for you. I'm excited to dive into it. Now, just like we do with every module and every class, I've got a disclaimer that I got to share with you. I am not a licensed attorney, accountant, financial advisor, broker, agent, or any other licensed individual. And even if I had a license, I'm not acting in that capacity. Therefore, I'm not going to discuss or provide any specific counsel, advice, or instruction that would apply to specific individuals. This is intended for general information only, for educational purposes. I recommend that you engage the services professionals in making decisions that have a legal impact, especially financial decisions. So let's dive in. Now, as a recommended prerequisite for this class, I really suggest that you go and watch our off-market deals on tap class in your online library. That we're going to recap a lot of the information that's in that class, as well as expand upon it. Wholesaling has to do with finding properties, and that's what the off-market deals on tap class is all about. So, you're welcome to watch this if you haven't watched the off-market deals on tap class, but I think you're going to get more out of it if you go and watch the off-market deals on tap class. So, if you want to jump out and watch that first, go ahead and do that. If you've already seen it, then let's go ahead and press forward. Now, I want to talk to you about some of the resources that you'll need for wholesaling. The first and biggest one is time. Finding properties takes time, and one of the things I see with new students is, they get frustrated because they go out and they spend time and they kind of pound their head against the wall for the first little while. I want you to remember that as human beings, we suck at everything that we try for the first time. You're going to be terrible at this at first. It just takes practice. You've got to go out and fail several times in order to learn from your experience and pick yourself up and keep going, because you're going to get better and better and better at it with each failure and with each step that you take towards wholesaling. So just keep that in mind as you do this. You give yourself a runway to kind of build up your skill set. But once you get that build up, this is going to be an amazing strategy for you. It's a simple strategy, not necessarily easy. There's nothing easy in life, right? But it's a very simple strategy that as you build the skill set for it, you're going to be able to go out and make a lot of money doing it. So some of this can be delegated to bird dogs. So you can build relationships to where you've got some people out there who will go and find properties for you. We call those bird dogs. But remember that it still takes time to analyze and sell properties to a buyer. So, just like any real estate investing strategy, it's going to take time, it's going to take knowledge, and it's going to take some hard work. But as long as you're willing to put those things into it, then you should be able to see the results that you want and start seeing some results really quickly. So it's also going to take money. If you structure a deal properly, most wholesale deals can be done with none of your own money. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into that in future modules. You will need money for some of the acquisition strategies that we're going to talk about, such as auctions and REOs from banks, earnest money, other things. So it's going to take a little bit of money, but it doesn't necessarily need to be your money. And like I said, we're going to dive into some of those strategies throughout this course. So you're going to need a relationship with a title company. That is something that I recommend from the get-go. If you haven't already started doing it, go out and start networking with title companies. Get to know some of them. Get to know title agents, because they're going to be your best friends. Make sure you establish those relationships strongly, because there's so much value that you can get out of having a strong relationship with a title company. You're going to need property finders. Those are the bird dogs that I talked about in the first bullet point. So as you start to engage in wholesaling, you can minimize the amount of time that you put in by leveraging relationships and having people go out and find those properties for you. Obviously, like we talk about in the mindset course, relationships are about balance. So you've got to be willing to provide value to those people, whether that's in the form of a monetary finder's fee, or in the form of equity in a deal, whatever the case might be. But just keep that in mind. We're going to talk about that further. You're also going to need property buyers. I recommend that you establish a buyer's list. I just use a Google spreadsheet. where I keep all of my buyers, what types of properties they're looking for, what areas they're looking for properties in, whether they're looking for fix and flips or rentals. We're going to talk about all these things in greater detail, but I wanted to give you kind of an idea of some of the resources that you're going to need. And then this will probably look familiar to you if you've seen the off-market deals on tap class. This is our finder system. We are going to use this same system for the first part of wholesaling. Wholesaling is kind of two halves. You've got to find the property and get the property under contract, and then you've got to sell that contract. So those are the two halves. You've got to get the contract, find the property, and then you've got to find the buyer, right? So we're gonna dive deeply into this, and hopefully you've watched that other class, because we're gonna build off of a lot of the principles that we learned in that class. Now that wraps it up for the introduction module. Next, we're going to be diving into the myths and the realities of wholesaling. So I will see you guys in module 2. We'll see you over there.